Hi everyone, it's Amanda from Taylor Transformations, and I've got another amazing wellbeing business here with me today. So I'm now going to hand over to Kathy, who can introduce herself and what she does. Over to you.
Thank you, Amanda. I'm Kathy Sanderson, and together with my husband, we live in Southwest Wales on top of a mountain, 25 acres of ancient woodland and meadowland, and we open it up to yourself to come and join us at our community gatherings where we are all about connection, community, relaxation, finding new friends, and just feeling part of something because presently there is a loneliness crisis. So we are here to do something about it.
Absolutely. First of all, that sounds absolutely stunning and gorgeous. And secondly, I totally agree. I run some local women's wellbeing groups, and that's a theme that comes throughout for a lot of people, especially who've moved into the area. Some of them have been living here a long time and just not made any friends. And yeah, loneliness is a really, really big thing.
And it's one of the biggest killers in the
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You hear it all the time, don't you, on the news? And yeah, it's something like this is amazing. It sounds exactly what everybody needs right now.
Definitely.
So, can you tell me a little bit about how you got where you are today?
So we moved to Wales 5 years ago. Before that, I work as an inner child healer, an energy
Oh,
healer. Because I've had 15 miscarriages or baby losses,
wow.
um, in a period of probably 10 years.
Okay.
And 12 of them were in 4 years. Um, so I was desperately looking for a way to make these babies appear because everybody was telling me these babies are coming, it kept me going. Um, so I was always looking. And then in the back of my mind, because my Reiki master also told me that why can't diabetes be healed? Where my consultant, the very first thing that they told me was it will never be healed. So it set me on that journey. And I really do believe it's kept me well compared to how I would have been from 20 years ago. If I'd have carried on down a different path,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been as well and as managed as I am now. So from finding out different root causes to pain and things like that. So energy healer, inner child healer, because it just blew me away and everyone was coming to me and it was all related to their childhood. And then I realized that maybe there was some issues in my childhood which were meaning that my inner child was still kicking and screaming and controlling the show in many ways. So that is what I did. And then my husband wanted to buy some land, move away, buy some land, run some holiday lets. Um, so we found this gorgeous place. That was the plan. And in Wales, there was no stamp duty freeze like there was in England. So we had to be out of our house at a certain time, and they didn't have that rush. So we went to stay in a holiday park somewhere in Kent. It's the only place I could get. Everywhere was rammed because lockdown had just finished. And it was lonely, lonely time because everybody was still not talking to people, not going near each other. The kids like would go next to each other, like for kids club and stuff, but it was a really lonely time. And as soon as we'd exchanged, I heard this voice, this idea of why don't we put something together where people could just come together and hug? No. Oh, okay. How could I do that? So I came up with an idea and asked David, my husband, could we do it in 7 weeks? Because we've just bought a place and it was the lady was vegetarian, but it was like a little pet farm.
All right. Okay.
So she used the sheep to make fleece rugs, and then she got some pigs and some chickens and stuff. So we had two fields of sheep. They weren't there though, obviously, when we moved in, but they had been used as sheep fields. So he learned how to make compost toilets, to make it an area. He was a builder, so he had some experience. He did it all in 7 weeks. I got in touch with friends who had ran workshops before because I'd never done anything like this. I'd ran an inner child workshop, that was it. Um, and they're from Birmingham, like I was from Birmingham. So they came as well, and they're like, yeah, yeah, because everyone was desperate, desperate to do something. And like everywhere was saying that you needed to have a passport type thing to go places. So put it on, only marketed it on Facebook, only spoke about it on Facebook. And 46 people I'd never met came for that September weekend. So it's going to be our fifth anniversary at the end of September.
Amazing.
Um, and it was just the most amazing weekend. Everyone just being there for everybody. And everyone said, it's just so amazing. You need to keep doing this. So we did, and we got a lot bigger. So 2022, 23, a lot bigger. And I got to the stage where it's like, it's too big. I don't want it this big. Three workshops on at a time. So you had to choose. Well, where's the relaxation gone there? Because you want to do that. They all sound brilliant. So
Yeah.
which one do you miss? And me as the creator, like I wanted to go around and support everyone. So I couldn't just go to one and not the other. And I couldn't didn't really want to walk out. So I didn't go. And I just sat at the camp kitchen talking to people. So I scaled it right back. Because people were coming, I wasn't getting to know them. If I wasn't getting to know them, they weren't getting to know people. People, the whole idea is friendship. So we scaled it right back. Everyone who comes now actually gets to know everyone. It's set up in a way that, so we have women's circle first and men's rewire around the fire because when you meet someone, you get an instant appraisal in your head of who they are.
Yeah.
And it's never right, but it relates to who you've met in the past, how people have been. So in women's circle, where you, as a woman, you run women's circles, finally get a chance to speak and be heard and say those things that have been running over your head, and you're like, I don't think I should say those. And suddenly, instantly, everyone realizes that they're all the same, going through the same things or have gone through the same things, and they can support each other. But what it does is it takes away that um, that feeling of, oh, she doesn't like me, oh, I don't like her, and those preconceptions which aren't true.
Yeah.
So immediately we've done that after our opening ceremony where we thank the land for being there. And I think that's a really important thing, It might sound a little bit hippie, but it's the land that supports us, the land that allows us to go there. And because it hasn't been farmed hundreds of years, it's a beautiful, peaceful, healing energy. And everyone was saying, oh, it feels like coming back. It feels like I'm coming home. And we're really glad that we've created that. But, there must be something more to it. And my husband was doing some reading somewhere and he discovered that there's crystal seams running all the way through our mountain.
Oh, wow.
So when you're having a sound bath and it's not in a concrete building and it's in a bell tent or a yurt on the ground on the mountain, all of those good vibes, all of that energy and vibration is getting reflected and reflected back.
Sounds
And
amazing.
because everyone's coming together and they've got the sole purpose of having a good time, making everybody feel like they matter, making new friends, it's reflected across the whole camp. So we're very, very fortunate in that way.
That sounds absolutely fabulous. And yeah, everything you're saying is absolutely resonating with me and everything. Oh, sounds beautiful. So what would you say is your favorite part of doing what you do then? Because there's so much involved and it sounds brilliant overall. Is there a bit that really inspires you and
Making new friends, meeting new people. I've got some people who came to our very first one are still friends 5 years on. They've made their own friendship groups. We normally only run an adults only event, so no kids, because it means that you can relax more and you're not having to think about where the children are. And also, some people don't like being around kids. No, that's not me. I've got three. I can't understand why anyone wouldn't want to be with their little darlings. But those 4 days are just bliss. So we sold out 2 weeks ago. I
fantastic?
was so pleased. And ladies came who were local to this area but would never have met. And now they're going to go off and do some camper van things because they've found that friendship group. And if they never came back, that is absolutely okay because what we exist for is that people find friends.
Yeah,
But they are coming back because they absolutely loved it. And we're putting another one on in September, September the 18th to the 20th, for the people who couldn't get the 4 days. Because we always say, well, we're going to have fun. We'll throw an extra day. And we're fortunate. This is what we do.
yeah.
So, we can find the time. But some people can't get time off work and they're like, oh, I can't come. So it's just a weekend this time. And it's already half sold out. And I only released it 2 weeks ago. So the fact of being able to be that lifeline for people to see that you are the person who is responsible for them two talking to each other and them two and them going somewhere and they would never ever have met but for us putting on our gatherings. That's something really special.
Oh, definitely. And unique as well. You don't get that in many places. So what a fantastic thing to do. Oh, I love it. So similar then, what's your favorite part of your job? Is it the same thing or is there certain things that you do that you just love doing more than others?
Um, I love doing women's circle because you see the women soften.
Yeah,
I love running my inner child workshops because so someone would never come on an inner child healing retreat, but they'll come to camp and they'll have never heard of inner child healing or the concept or even think that there's anything that they have around it. And quite often they come out of curiosity and they're like, oh, there's nothing wrong with my childhood and stuff. And they're listening to people talk. And then they're suddenly like, ooh. Oh gosh, yeah. Maybe that wasn't right in my childhood. Maybe that's the reason I feel that way. So even if they never come on one of our inner child healing retreats, it starts that ball rolling. And of course, every single workshop is different because you never know who's going to be in there. And then you're guided, of course, about what you're going to talk about. So being able to bring that to people is so lovely. Sitting around the campfire, the songs, we have a little boogie around the campfire. Um, or we'll do drumming and stuff. Because when you have been processing all of these things, even when you're doing aware of it or not, you need to shake it off.
yeah,
So we have a little bit of a drum and bass type kind of thing where everyone goes and dances around the campfire if they want to, and then we'll do some drumming stuff. So there's lots of things and camp is just so beautiful. So this weekend, I totally forgot to market it. And I'm like, what do I do? And I'm like, and I'm not cancelling it because the facilitators are coming and we'll just have an amazing time. And a few people have booked on, but I'm not going to cancel camp because camp is so lovely.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
even the facilitators, for them, it's a lifeline, escape out the city, come and do something different. The kids go off and play. There's nowhere where kids can go off and play unsupervised safely anymore,
Yeah.
but there is here.
It's brilliant. Like you say, inner child work is so important as well. It's so powerful. And I think a lot of it, what we always think of our childhood as normal because it is the norm to you. And it's only as you get older, you see and hear other things that you go, oh, actually, maybe that wasn't as, as good as I thought it was. Maybe there are things I need to work on. And that's nothing against parents or anything like that. It is purely just that's what life is. You know what I mean? Nothing is ever perfect. But learning about and hearing about others, that's what really gets you thinking and gets you actually thinking, oh, yeah, there's some work I can do here. So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And, becoming aware is the first step onto that healing journey. When you
yeah,
become aware of something, you can do something about it rather than just being frustrated that nothing's changing.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, loving it. So, is there some things that some people misunderstand about your line of work that you'd like to just talk a little bit about?
Wow. I posted in a van life group, and they totally tore me down. They're like, well, I can go to a beach and camp for free. You capitalist. You hippies are always after the money and stuff. I'm like, okay, you're definitely not my people. But I could set something up and go to a beach, but it's not my beach. And I can't ensure your safety.
Hmm.
I can't ensure who's coming along. And there are people who can just go and camp at the side of a road and feel very safe, or go in their camper van at the side of the road. But I'm not for those people. Those people are quite capable. I'm for the people who've got the camper van sitting on their drive, thinking it was amazing and it's just not moved because I'm not sure if I want to go to that big van life festival because there's going to be so many people there. Or I'd love to go out on it, but where would I camp? Where would we stop? Is it going to be safe? People going to be knocking? Because you hear of these things. So that's what we exist for. We exist for the family who want to go camping and spend time with their child in a safe environment. I'm in a lot of camping groups, and the amount that people once a week will say, I've just come to this campsite. This family have just pulled up next to me. They've got like 7 kids. They're all playing football. They're kicking the ball against my tent. They were up until 3 o'clock last night. My kids couldn't sleep. You know, for some people, that's absolutely fine. And that's what camping and everything is about. Ours isn't the camping, ours is the connection. So I always say you camp for free. Your camper van you bring for free. So there's no extra charge for camper vans, which is quite rare.
Yeah,
Normally, like there's no charge for parking. All activities and workshops are included. So if you're happy just going onto a beach, turning up, meeting some randoms that you've never met before, that's brilliant. But we exist for the people who don't. And because of that, we have to maintain our land. We have to insure it. We have to get the buildings done. If I have to market it, I have to do the admin. It's a job.
absolutely.
If
And none of that
I,
comes free.
yeah, exactly. I'd have to go and work in another job and then flog myself to be able to put one event on and hopefully get time off for it.
Exactly. Exactly. At the end of the day, it's a business and we all need that to survive. And there's nothing wrong at all with that. If it's not for some people, that's fine. But you'll
And
find
we
the right
keep our
people.
prices low.
Yeah,
So £150 per adult, but kids free. We never charge for children because we've got three of our own. And 16 and under, because my child's 16 and she can't find a job. She's not going to pay for herself. So immediately putting a charge on for children. Now you can understand why companies do it. But we're lucky that we've got enough space. So putting on enough a thing for children means that the parents who are desperately lonely, who want to do some self-development work, some have a sound bath, those types of things, can come without worrying about childcare, without worrying about the cost.
yeah, that's
So
amazing.
that's why we do it.
No, that's brilliant. I think, and then there is a niche and there is something out there for, people who want that. So that's amazing that you do that. Because I said that's a big thing that stops a lot of parents, isn't it, from doing it because they're just not able to go out and get the babysitters of the time, the capacity. So this is perfect because it's all in one.
That's it. And the kids are off exploring, making new friends, climbing trees, playing in the play areas. With an amazing volunteer, two amazing volunteers who come along and they do the children's activities. It's not a creche. I have to be very specific. It's not a creche. So if your children are young and need to be supervised, you must sit with them. But it for the children who are able to do their own thing, it gives them another thing. So they learn to do whittling, they learn
Amazing.
to do crafts, they go and do foraging, all of the things which make life interesting. So they're off the screen, off their phone.
Fantastic. And some great life skills there as well.
Definitely. And being a life skill is being able to go up to people and make friends and talk to adults and children.
Yeah. And in a safe, comfortable environment, which is exactly what you've got there, which is perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds great. So if someone wanted to start doing what you're doing, what advice would you give them?
Um, Make sure you've got everything in place. Don't buy some land and suddenly think that you can do this because we we were doing the 28-day rule. but it meant that we couldn't have buildings. So in Africa or Spain, that would be great. Not in Wales. So we have a covered seating area, but it leaks because it's corrugated iron. So we put planning permission in, but it cost us 4 times as much as we thought it was going to. So all of our savings have gone. So we're building a lodge so that we can get the money so that we can build the camp kitchen because people do workshops, but where they come and talk to is when they're eating, when they
Yes.
can sit around, when they can relax. So I think it's a really important element. And of course, we attract people who've got some illnesses, who need to stay warm. Um, so by being able to build this place where they can still see the beauty of nature, hoping to have bifold doors. So even if it's raining, you can still see the views off the mountain and stuff. But it means that they'll be safe and they'll be warm and we can keep them and, they'll be solar and stuff. So there's a lot of things. But the main thing is to find out this grew organically. I had no idea what I was doing. People have asked me to franchise this. I'm like, how would I franchise it? Um, but when you know what you want to create and you keep to it, don't listen to what other people tell you. People will come in and try and take over and tell you how to do things and everything. And I listened to them because I was new to it. And these people have been doing things for ages. But be really sure in yourself and your vision and stick to your vision. Unless things come up where like we were growing and everyone's all about the money, aren't they? You're getting more and more and more and more and more people. But it wasn't what we were set up for. If people want to go to that festival vibe, there's loads of places. We can take 25 bookings. That's it. Because our infrastructure wouldn't allow for any, you wouldn't fit in like for the sound bath and stuff like that. So it's not a case of someone getting a field, putting a porta potty in there, sticking some bell tents up, and having as many people in as possible, and everyone just squeezes in as much as they can. Stick to your ideas. Unless something comes up and it feels against you, believe in yourself. Take advice from others, but believe in your aim, your mission, and try and stick to it.
And I think that's so amazing how, even though it was growing and growing, you realize that was just going off what you wanted it to be, that community, that friendliness and meeting everybody. And the fact that you just said, no, it's not going in the right direction. Let's go back to basics. That just shows people that you can do it and you just got to stick to what it is that you want to do. And even if it snowballs, if that's not what you want, you can bring it back. It's fine.
I couldn't be in a place where I felt overwhelmed. That's, that's the whole point, isn't it? You're supposed to enjoy what you're doing.
Yes,
And if I'm feeling overwhelmed, then what's other people who don't know the land it isn't theirs? How are they feeling?
exactly, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. So, what motivates you then? What inspires you to do what you do and keep doing it?
Just seeing the results, the people. From 2 weekends ago, a guy came and he was like, I don't know if I'm in the right place, and he was able to get in touch with his emotions. And he probably spent most of one day in his tent, but that was what he needed. And had he not come to that, he would not have got in touch with his emotions.
Yeah.
Those ladies coming, meeting, making friends, knowing that now that they've got their camper vans, which they spent a lot of money on, and they're not just going to sit on their driveway because they're too scared to go out. They've got a community now. That's what drives us. Seeing the people, like we have a lady come with her children, and she's like, I feel more seen in these 2 hours than I do in the rest of my life.
Oh, wow.
And then you just instantly, never mind how much of a hassle it's been putting this thing on and constant messages and people not coming or people that you've booked to come not turning up and all of this type of stuff, it just goes out the window because you see there in that moment that your whole aim, your vision is there in that one thing.
Just so worth it, worth every minute.
Definitely.
So, having that in mind, then, so what does well-being mean to you?
Well-being. It's a very well used term, isn't it?
It is. It means
Like
so much to so many different people.
exactly. So well-being to me is the wellness of body and mind. But more important, I think it's mind. I think if you're well in your mind, your body will follow.
Yes.
And being able to have a place where you could, so well-being to me is nature, a place where you can escape, a place where you can sit, a place where you can just be. I'm very fortunate. You can't see it, but I keep getting distracted because I'm literally looking out on our land. And every day as I'm working, it's not like I'm in an office because I'm seeing all of the beautiful greenery. I'm watching the kites, the buzzards, the jays, because they're little greedy things. And if you throw some bread out, the jays do appear. I'm watching my chickens and my ducks and seeing everything. And I think nature is the place for well-being. Okay, in a city, you go to the gym, and that's supposed to be well-being, but in a way, you're just punishing your body. You should be out walking in nature.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Must just be amazing just seeing that every day. And I imagine that's part of your well-being toolkit, I'd say, then sort of being there. So, other than the gorgeous, amazing scenery that you've got, what else do you have in your well-being toolkit?
So I'm also training to be a herbalist.
Oh, fantastic.
And that came about because of all the amazing people I met at these beginning weekends and the gatherings. And I was like, oh my God, I need to know more. I need to know more. I need to know more. One lady came and she did a whole workshop on nettles. I
Oh,
didn't
fantastic.
even know. All I thought were nettles were stinging you. I had cured I brought out my two daughters' chicken pox in 3 days. So I was able to go on holiday the next week. But so much about nettles. And, you want to stay healthy, have nettles, have plantain, and have dandelion leaf. And that's literally just, if you're in a healthy place, having that will keep you healthy. So I've learned so much mushrooms. I discovered that possibly my son may be ADHD, PDA, AUD, whatever. But I never wanted him tested, and we were home editing, so there was never any need. But I did want to support him. So someone told me about lion's mane, and I could have done what everyone else did and just gone and bought some. But no, I bought a kit and I grew some, and I made a tincture and I gave it to him. And I noticed a difference in 2 weeks. I noticed really noticeable differences. Like he was going into the kitchen. We was in the lounge. We'd all finished eating. He went in to go into the kitchen, and I said, "Oh, you take your plate out with you because I live in hope. Always trying, always trying." Normally, he'd like bunch his fists together, stomp his feet, start crying. He was 9. No, oh, mummy, yes. But would you like me to take yours in? I looked over at David and I was like,
Wow.
and he started to calm his energy down. So he was able to deal with his emotions a lot more. We didn't constantly get calls from cubs to pick him up because he couldn't control his arms or his legs and he would hurt someone. He started to get friendship groups at school. He was listening at school. He got good reports. Through being able to listen at school, so they're not classing him as a naughty child, he's been diagnosed with dyscalculia. Whereas if they were still thinking he was a naughty child, they would just be a
Wouldn't have
naughty
thought.
child, wouldn't they? And
Um,
like reading, no, not reading, writing and stuff. So he's got a laptop. And everyone met him who had met him before was commenting on how much calmer he was. But I run 2 businesses. and I'm a wife and a mother and all of those things. So I take lion's mane just so I can remember who I am. How many meetings I've got that day. Did used to say where I put my keys, but I lost them for a whole week last week,
Oh, wow.
despite them having a spanner on them. So I can't say that anymore, can I? But what I did realize on that day, because it was just before our adults only weekend, and I was flustered. I went to a networking meeting being very naughty because I didn't want to miss it. And came back and then I had all of these lists of tasks to do and I was doing them and everything. And then I quickly ran down, I don't run, but quickly walked down our track and a car pulled in and I quickly grabbed my dog and dumped to the side and fell over,
Oh, no.
slipped on a rock and fell over. And I'm like, oh my God, you haven't done that for like 4 years. You haven't been this clumsy. You really need to ground yourself. You need to stop. So stood there and I grounded myself and life got very much easier. But I had to bribe my daughter £20 and her boyfriend found the keys for a week. But lion's mane is brilliant to help you keep focused. Um,
Interesting.
Reishi, amazing. So I thought I was a night owl from a teenager, couldn't go to sleep early, would stay up watching films with my dad, struggle getting up, felt numb, my legs felt numb. I used to say, I wonder if like for one day I would not be diabetic and I'd know if this is normal, this is me or my diabetes, but now I know it was me. Um, so I started taking reishi because I wanted really nice hair, as it's known as a mushroom of immortality. And I started taking it and I noticed that I was able to go to sleep before midnight. And when I woke up, I wasn't tired. I wasn't groggy. My legs weren't numb. I was actually looking forward to getting up. It was really, really a real difference.
Yeah.
So I'm really into mushrooms. I take chaga because as a type 1 diabetic, I've been having flu jabs since I was 18. I've had every single thing. The thing that stopped me was COVID. No, the thing that stopped me was becoming vegan and realizing there was egg in the flu jab. So the universe has a way to bring you to these things, doesn't it? And I have been so much healthier without having seasonal asthma since stopping taking my flu jabs. So take that what you will. And then I make a blend for perimenopause. So everyone goes, what was your perimenopausal symptoms? I say, well, I had two hot sweats, raged at my daughter twice, wanted to leave home, go and buy myself a flat. Thought, this is not normal. Went and took my Wild Woman blend, didn't deal with it anymore.
Okay.
But it's helped lots of people to come off HRT, not need HRT, no longer feel like they're failing, no longer feel like their world's collapsing, that they're in a never-ending cycle of pain and hot sweats and forgetfulness and anxiety. It's really helped. And then I take something called Glow. So I didn't want collagen, but you might have guessed that sometimes I worry about aging. I may have my grey streaks, which I like because they're witchy things. But everyone was on about collagen, collagen, everywhere you was collagen, collagen. And like, I'm not a vegan anymore because we live in Southwest Wales and being vegan in Birmingham was a lot easier. But I know my neighbours, how they're raising their animals. So I know, and I'm so busy that eating vegan convenience food was so much worse than eating normal convenience food. But I still didn't know how that cow was being treated that was going to be in my collagen, or how dirty the sea was from them taking the marine collagen. So I didn't want that. So I did a lot of research and I came across tremella mushroom, which is snow fungus, known as a beauty mushroom in Japan, and they eat it as soup. And what it does is it encourages your cells to hold the water, which is why we start looking wrinkly as we get older. Um, so I created a blend with that in, and um, other tinctures and flower essences, which remarkably, while it's supposed to be helping with my beauty, and it does, it stopped people's skin being itchy
Okay.
because it's rehydrating them.
Yeah.
So rather than having to cover the skin in um, lotion, which doesn't really get to the thing, does it? It just means you have to constantly put it on. And that was how my friend says it should be called Say No with Glow because it enables her to have boundaries. So like work, say, can you do this? And like she'd say, oh yes, yes, that's okay. And she'd be working at home and all of these things. And now she goes, no. Well, can you do that? No, that's not part of my job description. No.
Love
So
it.
it enables them to feel supported internally. Because then it doesn't matter what's going on externally. You're your oak tree and you know that you can stand there no matter what's going on around you. So yeah, those are my well-being.
Fantastic. There's a lot of really useful information there as well. And there'll be a few people in some of my groups that'll be quite interested in that, so I'll make sure I'm sharing it there. Um, so are there any wellbeing resources that you can recommend for people? So make books or podcasts or articles or anything that you think would be quite handy?
I'm going to tell you something now that's going to shock you. I don't listen to podcasts.
That's fine. Not everybody does.
I don't have the time. I very rarely watch reels, apart from how to do my hair, because they keep coming up as I'm doing my doom scrolling before bed. Um, I'm all about the posts. But the best thing for your health is being in nature. It it's remarkable how people don't realize how important it is. And it's great that in the big cities there are parks that you can go to, and they're not utilized enough because they're there and everyone just forgets about them. But when you're feeling stressed, and my husband has to do it for me and drag me out of the house, when you go for a walk, you're not having to think about it everywhere because you're having to think about balancing. You're having to think about where you're walking to. The mindfulness becomes a repetitive thing and it takes your mind off what's constantly going on. Plus the fact you're in nature, so you're breathing in more oxygen. You're hearing the nice sounds of the birds, which really relaxes you, which is quite bizarre because that bird song that you're hearing is actually alarm call going, Jerry, there's someone here that we don't know. Oh, Marjorie, careful, careful. But to us, it sounds like this beautiful song. So you can hear them, and everyone's like, oh, it's so beautiful and calming. And I'm like, you do know that if you weren't there, they wouldn't really be making half of that noise. But hearing those different sounds and seeing those different animals, the plants and all of the oxygen that they're releasing. And of course, then you're doing a little bit of gentle exercise. So you're getting the cortisol going down in your body, releasing the stress. Even if that's all you can do is go out after work and stand on a little bit of grass. You don't even have to be barefoot. Just be in nature is just so powerful.
Does makes a huge difference. Yeah. I can love it first thing in the morning where it's just nobody's up. It's really quiet. I open the door, I can hear all the birds and everything outside, and that's it. Just silence. And the sun is just coming through. Lovely. It really boosts my well-being every single day. So
And another thing that's powerful for well-being is laughing.
yes.
So, watch the funny reels, watch something funny on telly, try and get together with a friend who always makes you laugh or on a phone call and stuff. And we had a hot tub party last night. And so two friends came round. We've got a wood-fired hot tub because while I was away on my quilting retreat, my husband had his two friends over. So we said, we'll have one. And there was no alcohol, nothing. We just sat and we chatted and we laughed 4 hours. Does you world of good.
Yeah. And time flies when you're having fun, so
Oh God, yeah. And my husband kept coming and stoking up the fire, so we just stayed.
oh, it sounds like an amazing time.
It was lovely.
So have you got any new projects coming up or anything exciting that you want to tell us about?
I've just been put into two shops. I make a magic balm, which was created for my neighbour's psoriasis. Because rather embarrassingly, I asked her had she fell into a bush. I didn't know about psoriasis, and she got very embarrassed, and I felt mortified. Um, so I made her this balm that I'd been thinking about for a while in my head, and within 2 weeks, it cleared up the psoriasis.
That's amazing.
She was so proud. She was sending me pictures and everything. And she started using it for things like she got a bit of dry skin. So she's putting it on there and she cut herself, put it on. I said to my husband, I said, I think we need to start using this. So we started using it for everything. So we went to Thailand. We backpacked for a month 3 years ago with our children, 2 years ago with our children. And all we took was 3 pots this size of this balm. So I'm a type 1 diabetic. Anything that normally happens, diabetics get infected, the lot. I went on a bamboo river cruise thingy, where you're on literally a little raft of bamboo going down the river. Of course, I scratched my foot and it was bleeding. It was in the dirty river, you know. Normally, I'd have to go to the chemist, get some antibiotic, you know. No, put the balm on. Next day, you couldn't even see where it was. The day after, perfectly healed. Got sunburn, put it on because I was scuba diving and, you know, not scuba diving, but the one where you've got, yeah, it's scuba diving, isn't it? And thinking that was all underwater, but I'd got a life jacket buoyancy thing on. So I thought I was under the water, and then I came home and my bum was so burned. The back of my arms was so burned because I'd literally been in the Thailand sun in the sea all day. So put the balm on, that's how I cured that. My son got covered in mosquitoes in Pattaya. The next day, put it on, all went. So it's
Amazing.
absolutely amazing for so many things. And it's going into a refill shop in Carmarthen. It's in there now. And it's just about to go into Crunchy Baby stores. So, you know, the people, Crunchy comes from granola. We found this out yesterday. Like, why Crunchy? That sounds a bit weird. But, you know, like the granola making mums. So
Yeah,
the natural, everything natural, nothing synthetic. And it's going into a high street store in Bristol there called the big baby eco. And that is a real achievement for me. But one of the things that I absolutely love is our mother and daughter retreat because it's for tweens, it's a reconnection retreat. And they're always on TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat. My daughter, when she comes home, she's on the phone to all her friends on a group chat from the moment she comes home to the moment she goes to bed. And if I tell her to get off, she suddenly has to go and walk the dog. So providing a place where people can come and it's literally everything's done for them. So they've got a 5 meter bell tent with proper beds, each other, you know, one to themselves, all their food, their snacks, their drinks, everything, activities. So they literally just turn up and it's a whole weekend of each other. And the daughters come and like they're a bit reticent. My mum, what is this? What have you taught me to? And we sit round at the campfire having s'mores, and they're like, "Oh, mum's not on a phone. Mum's here with me. I can get mum's attention," and they start warming up to it. And then the next morning, so we will be doing some like facials and some makeup. So it's all about touch, the power of touch, isn't it? So it brings you back. And the kids are like, oh, I can do mum's makeup. She's never let me do that before. Or, oh, I can make mum happy, you know. And the mums watching their daughters and they're doing it. And like the daughters are feeling the power of mum's touch and things. So watching how those daughters arrive to how they leave and like leave holding their mum's hands and things and confident. That's what we're all about. We're all about that connection. So we've put in on a parent and child one as well. It might just be about when this comes out, but it'll be on next year anyway. So for 6 to 16, whereas the tween one is 8 to 14, because separated parents find it hard to spend time with children. You find it hard to spend time with one child if you've got more than one child. But it's open to carers and fathers and aunties and uncles and stuff. And that's all forestry school type things. So if you've got a daughter and you're thinking, I don't think my daughter would like that, but she'd love making dens, she'd love learning how to whittle and all of those types of things, then, that might be better suited. And of course, because I'm training to be a herbalist, me and my best friend Holly, who's a community herbalist, we run the herbal remedy weekend workshops. So this year it's all about witchy things. So we had a witch's cupboard in May, and then in July we're doing ancestral remedies. So everything that we would have known 200, 300 years ago, like making marshmallows that are good for your belly, not the other way around. Um, and then we've got teaching people how to grow their plants or forage for them, collect them, so harvest them, use them. So grow your own apothecary. And the one I'm really excited about is visioning and dreaming with plants in September.
Well, that sounds fascinating.
I know, yeah. So they're very, and how lucky am I that I can put these things on, which I am absolutely excited about and love teaching about, and love being part of.
Exactly, yeah. And when you just see the difference it makes for people, that's just amazing, honestly. These sound absolutely brilliant, they really do.
Thank you.
So, is there anything else that we haven't covered that you'd just like to say, mention either around well-being or about what you're doing?
Well-being is all about connection and community, and I think as long as you have connection and community in a community that you feel safe and seen in, then you're halfway there. You're more than halfway there, actually. I'd say you're like 85% there. Because everything else can be done. But if you haven't got that, knowing that someone's got your back, knowing that you're safe to say whatever you want to say, not having to hold back, I think it's incredibly powerful for your health and your mental well-being.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing with me today. It sounds amazing, everything that you're doing. And I'm going to pop Kathy's information at the end of this. So please go check her out. She's across the socials, the websites, covering everything that she does. And reach out to her and ask her any questions. So thank you for joining me, for sharing everything. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.
Thank you, Amanda.
See you, everybody.